If adultery were an Olympic sport, my wife would be Michael Phelps with a gold medal collection that'd make NASA jealous. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start with the moment my perfectly ordered world turned into a dumpster fire with premium gasoline poured on top. Tuesday night, October 15th. I'm sitting in my beat-up Honda Civic outside Chen's Chinese Takeout on Maple Street, waiting for our usual order of General Tesso's chicken and beef lo mein. The rain's coming down like God's having a bad day, and I'm scrolling through my phone, checking work emails about the latest software update for Morrison Tech Solutions. That's when I see her, Dana, my wife of 12 years, stepping out of the Grandview Hotel with a man who definitely isn't me. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The guy's tall, maybe 6'2", wearing a charcoal suit that probably costs more than my monthly salary. His hands are all over her like he owns the real estate, and she's letting him. Hell, she's encouraging it. Her red dress, the one I bought her for our anniversary last month, clings to her like a second skin as she laughs at something he whispers in her ear. But here's the kicker. Standing about 20 feet away, partially hidden behind a black BMW, is Janice, Dana's best friend since college, the woman who's been to every birthday party, every holiday dinner, every major milestone in our marriage. She's holding up her phone, snapping pictures like she's documenting a nature preserve. My stomach drops faster than a lead balloon in a vacuum chamber. The takeout bag hits my passenger seat with a dull thud as the teenage delivery kid knocks on my window. I hand him a 20 without counting, my eyes still glued to the scene across the street. Dana and Mystery Man are walking toward a silver Mercedes. His, I assume, since Dana drives a white Lexus that's currently sitting in our driveway at home. Keep the change, I mutter to the kid, who's probably wondering why I look like I just witnessed a murder. Which, in a way, I have. The murder of my marriage. Dana slides into the passenger seat of the Mercedes with the practiced ease of someone who's done this before. Many times before, the man closes her door with the gentleness of a lover, walks around to the driver's side, and they disappear into the night. Janice is already gone, vanished like smoke. I sit there for another 10 minutes, rain drumming on my roof, Chinese food getting cold, trying to process what I just saw. My phone buzzes. A text from Dana. Working late again. Don't wait up. Love you. Love me. Right. I drive home through the empty streets of our suburban neighborhood, past the manicured lawns and two-story colonials that all look the same in the darkness. Our house sits at the end of Elmwood Drive, a modest 3-bedroom that we bought when we thought we'd fill it with kids someday. That dream died around year 7, along with a lot of other dreams. The house is dark, except for the porch light. Dana's Lexus sits in the driveway like evidence of a lie. I park behind it, grab the now cold Chinese food, and walk through our front door into what feels like a crime scene. Everything looks normal. The living room with its beige furniture and wedding photos on the mantel. The kitchen with its granite countertops and stainless steel appliances that Dana insisted we needed. The hallway leading to our bedroom, where the king-size bed will be empty tonight, except for me. I dump the food in the fridge and grab a beer from the 6-pack I keep hidden behind the milk. Dana doesn't approve of drinking on weeknights. Dana doesn't approve of a lot of things I do. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a bank alert. A transfer notification. $50,000 moved from our joint savings account to an account I don't recognize. The transaction happened at 8:47 p.m., about 10 minutes before I saw Dana sucking face with Mr. Mercedes. $50,000. That's our emergency fund, our vacation money, our down payment for the bigger house Dana keeps talking about. I sit at our kitchen table, staring at my phone screen, and the pieces start falling into place like a jigsaw puzzle designed by Satan himself. The late nights at work, the new clothes, the way she's been distant, distracted, like she's living in a different world, the mysterious phone calls she takes in the other room, the credit card charges at restaurants I've never been to. How long has this been going on? Months? Years? More importantly, what the hell am I going to do about it? I finish my beer and grab another one, then another. By the time Dana's key turns in the lock at 11:30 p.m., I'm 3 beers deep and ready for war. She walks into the kitchen like she owns the place, which technically she does. Her name's on the deed, too, along with everything else we've built together, built on lies, apparently. Hey, babe, she says, kissing my cheek with lips that were probably wrapped around another man's tongue an hour ago. How was your day? Interesting, I say, watching her face for any sign of guilt. There isn't one. She's either a sociopath or an Oscar-worthy actress. Got some Chinese food? It's in the fridge if you're hungry. Thanks, but I grabbed something at the office. Another lie, delivered with the casual ease of a professional. I'm exhausted. I'm going to shower and go to bed. She disappears upstairs, and I hear the water running. I imagine her washing off the scent of another man, erasing the evidence of her betrayal. The thought makes me sick. I'm about to follow her upstairs when I notice her purse on the counter. Black leather, expensive, the kind of thing she charges to our joint credit card without asking. It's sitting there like a treasure chest, and I'm feeling like a pirate with nothing left to lose. The main compartment has the usual stuff: wallet, keys, makeup, breath mints. But tucked into a side pocket, I find something that stops my heart cold. A second phone. A cheap burner with a cracked screen. My hands shake as I power it on. No password protection. Either she's careless, or she never expected me to find it. The message history reads like a pornographic novel written by someone with a business degree. Eddie, can't wait to see you tonight. Room 412. Dana, Patrick's working late. We have all night. Eddie, what about the money? Dana, transferred. 50 grand, like we discussed. Janice says the Series B paperwork is ready. Eddie, your husband's signature? Dana, already handled. He signs everything I put in front of him. The messages go back months. Dozens of them. Plans, promises, and enough explicit details to make a sailor blush. But it's not just about closeness. It's about money. My money. Our money. And something called Series B paperwork that I've never seen. The shower stops running upstairs. I quickly screenshot the most damning messages, send them to my personal email, and slip the phone back into her purse. By the time Dana comes downstairs in her silk robe, I'm sitting at the table pretending to read the newspaper. Coming to bed? She asks, running her fingers through my hair like a loving wife. In a minute, I say without looking up. Just finishing this article. She kisses the top of my head and heads upstairs. I wait until I hear our bedroom door close, then I grab my laptop and start digging. Eddie Martinelli. That's his full name, according to the contact info in the burner phone. A quick Google search reveals he's a business consultant who specializes in startup funding and venture capital. His LinkedIn profile shows him posing next to expensive cars and shaking hands with people in suits. His company, Martinelli Consulting, has an address downtown in the financial district. But here's where it gets interesting. A deeper dive through public records shows that Eddie Martinelli has been married 3 times. Each marriage ended in divorce after his wife discovered he was having affairs. Each divorce left him with a significant financial settlement. He's a professional homewrecker, a predator who targets successful women, seduces them, and then bleeds them dry. And Dana walked right into his trap. The Series B paperwork is harder to track down, but after an hour of searching through business filings and corporate records, I find it. Dana's company, Blackstone Marketing Solutions, is preparing for a major funding round. $50 million from a group of investors, contingent on certain conditions being met. One of those conditions is that all major shareholders sign off on the deal. And according to the paperwork I find buried in our home office filing cabinet, I'm listed as a co-owner of Blackstone Marketing. 15% equity, acquired when Dana used our joint assets as startup capital 5 years ago. My signature is required for the Series B funding to go through. But the signature on the documents isn't mine. It's close, but not perfect. Someone forged it. Dana forged it. I lean back in my chair and stare at the ceiling. My wife is cheating on me with a professional con artist. She's stolen $50,000 from our joint account. She's forged my signature on legal documents worth millions of dollars. And her best friend is helping her document the whole thing, probably for blackmail purposes later. I should be devastated. I should be crying, drinking myself into oblivion, calling a lawyer, or confronting Dana with tears in my eyes and pain in my heart. Instead, I'm smiling. Because Dana just made the biggest mistake of her life. She underestimated me. She thinks I'm weak, passive, the kind of man who'll roll over and take whatever she dishes out. She thinks I'll sign the divorce papers, take whatever settlement she offers, and disappear quietly into the night. She's wrong. I close my laptop and head upstairs. Dana's asleep in our bed, looking peaceful and innocent, like an angel. A lying, cheating, stealing angel who's about to learn that even angels can fall. Tomorrow, the real fun begins. Wednesday morning arrives with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer to the skull. Dana's up early, humming in the shower like she doesn't have a care in the world, like she didn't just destroy our marriage and steal enough money to buy a luxury car. I'm in the kitchen making coffee when she bounces downstairs in her power suit, navy blue, tailored to perfection, the kind of outfit that screams successful businesswoman. To everyone except her husband, who knows she's really screaming successful adulteress. Morning, honey, she chirps, grabbing a travel mug and filling it with coffee. I've got back-to-back meetings today. Probably won't be home until late. More consulting work? I ask, testing the waters. Something like that. She kisses my cheek again, and I resist the urge to wipe it off. Oh, by the way, my mother wants to have dinner this weekend, Saturday night at the country club. Margaret Blackwood, Dana's mother, the woman who's never liked me, never thought I was good enough for her precious daughter, and never missed an opportunity to remind me of it. Dinner with Margaret is like volunteering for root canal surgery performed by a drunk dentist with anger management issues. Sounds wonderful, I lie. Dana grabs her purse, the one with the burner phone, and heads for the door. Love you, she calls over her shoulder. Love you too, I call back, and we're both lying through our teeth. The door closes, and I'm alone with my thoughts and a plan that's been forming in my head since 3 a.m. Step 1, gather more evidence. Step 2, find out exactly how deep this conspiracy goes. Step 3, burn their world to the ground. I call in sick to work, something I never do, and spend the morning following Dana's digital footprints. Her company credit card statements show regular charges at the Grandview Hotel. Always room service for 2. Always on days when she claimed to be working late. Her personal credit card reveals shopping sprees at Victoria's Secret, expensive dinners at restaurants I've never heard of, and a recurring monthly charge to something called Discreet Investigations, LLC. Discreet Investigations turns out to be a private detective agency that specializes in matrimonial surveillance, the kind of place you go when you want to gather dirt on your spouse for divorce proceedings. Dana's been planning this for months, maybe years. My phone rings. It's my sister Kate calling from her auto repair shop across town. Hey, stranger, she says. Haven't heard from you in weeks. How's married life treating you? Kate's always been the smart one in the family. She saw through Dana's act from day one, but she's too polite to say, I told you so. Yet, it's been better, I admit. Uh-oh. What happened? I give her the abbreviated version. The hotel, the money, the forged documents. By the time I finish, Kate's swearing like a sailor with a stubbed toe. That bitch, she says. Patrick, you need to get yourself a lawyer. Today. I'm working on it. And you need to protect your assets. Close the joint accounts. Move your money somewhere she can't touch it. Already on my list. Good. And Patrick, don't do anything stupid. I know you're pissed and you have every right to be, but don't give her ammunition to use against you in court. Too late for that, I think, but I don't tell Kate about the revenge plan brewing in my head. After we hang up, I drive downtown to the financial district. Martinelli Consulting has an office on the 15th floor of a glass tower that looks like it was designed by someone who really, really likes rectangles. The lobby is all marble and chrome, the kind of place where you feel underdressed even in a tuxedo. I take the elevator up and walk past the Martinelli Consulting office, pretending to look for a different company. Through the glass doors, I can see Eddie at his desk, talking on the phone and gesturing with his free hand like he's conducting an orchestra of lies. He's younger than I expected. Mid-30s, maybe. Handsome in that generic Ken doll way that women seem to find irresistible. His suit probably costs more than my car, and his watch catches the light like a disco ball made of gold and arrogance. I'm about to leave when the elevator opens and Dana steps out. She's here, in the middle of the day. While she's supposed to be in back-to-back meetings, I duck into a nearby stairwell and watch through the small window as she walks into Eddie's office like she owns the place. He stands up, comes around his desk, and pulls her into his arms. They kiss like they're alone in the world, like they're not destroying lives and marriages with every breath. My phone buzzes, a text from Dana. Meeting's running long, won't be home for dinner. I take a photo of them through the window. It's not great quality, but it's clear enough to show Dana in Eddie's arms, in his office, at the exact time she texted me about being in meetings. Evidence. Beautiful, damning evidence. I'm about to leave when I hear voices in the hallway. Dana and Eddie are coming out of his office, walking toward the elevator. I press myself against the stairwell door and listen. The paperwork's almost ready, Eddie's saying. Once the Series B goes through, we'll have more money than we know what to do with. What about Patrick? Dana asks. What about him? He'll get whatever the prenup says he gets, which is basically nothing. They laugh. Actually laugh, like my financial ruin is the funniest joke they've ever heard. Janice says she has enough photos to prove he's been violent and unstable, Dana continues. If he tries to fight the divorce, we'll destroy him in court. Perfect. By Christmas, you'll be free, rich, and we can start our new life together. The elevator dings, and their voices fade away. I stand in the stairwell for another 5 minutes, processing what I just heard. They're planning to frame me, make me look violent and unstable, used Janice's photos, whatever those are, to paint me as the villain in this story. The prenup. I'd forgotten about that damn prenup. Dana insisted on it before we got married, said it was just a formality, that we'd never need it. I signed it without reading it carefully, trusting my wife-to-be to have our best interests at heart. Stupid. So incredibly stupid. I drive home and dig the prenup out of our filing cabinet. It's worse than I remembered. In the event of divorce, I get the house and whatever's left in our joint checking account after debts are paid. Dana keeps her business, her retirement accounts, and any assets acquired through her company. If the Series B funding goes through, with my forged signature, Dana will be worth millions, and I'll get nothing. Unless I can prove fraud. Unless I can prove she forged my signature and stole marital assets. Unless I can destroy her before she destroys me. That evening, I'm sitting at the kitchen table when Dana comes home. She's glowing, practically radiating satisfaction. The look of a woman who's had a very good day planning her husband's downfall. "How were your meetings?" I ask. "Productive," she says, not quite meeting my eyes. "Very productive." She's showered and changed clothes since I saw her at Eddie's office. The red dress is gone, replaced by the conservative business attire she wore to work this morning, covering her tracks. "I ran into Janice at the grocery store," I lie. "She mentioned something about photos?" Dana freezes. Just for a second, but I catch it. "Photos?" She said she's been taking pictures for some project. Didn't really explain what kind of project. "Oh, that?" Dana relaxes. "She's documenting her garden renovation. You know how she is about her landscaping." Another lie. Smooth as silk and twice as dangerous. We eat dinner in relative silence, both of us pretending to be normal married people having a normal evening. Dana scrolls through her phone. Her regular phone, not the burner, while I push pasta around on my plate and plan her destruction. After dinner, she disappears into her home office to catch up on work. I can hear her typing, making phone calls, probably coordinating with Eddie and Janice about their next moves. I retreat to the living room and call Mason Torres, an old friend who owns a boxing gym downtown. Mason's an ex-cop who left the force after a corruption scandal that wasn't his fault, but destroyed his career anyway. Now he trains fighters and gives advice to people who need the kind of help that doesn't come with a badge. "Patrick," Mason says when he answers. "Been a while, man. What's up?" "I need to ask you about something, hypothetically." Oh, nothing good ever starts with hypothetically. What kind of trouble are you in?" I give him the story, all of it. The cheating, the money, the forged documents, the conspiracy to frame me as violent and unstable. Mason listens without interrupting, which is one of the things I've always liked about him. He doesn't judge, doesn't offer platitudes, doesn't tell you everything's going to be okay when it clearly isn't. "That's a hell of a situation," he says when I finish. "What do you want to do about it?" "I want to fight back, but I need to be smart about it." Smart is good. Stupid gets you arrested or divorced, or both. You got any evidence? Some. Working on getting more. Good. Evidence is everything. Without it, you're just another angry husband making accusations. With it, you're a victim seeking justice. What about the forged signature? That's fraud, right? Depends. If you can prove you didn't sign it, and you can prove she did, then yeah, that's fraud. But proving it's another story. You'd need handwriting experts, document analysis, the whole 9 yards. Expensive stuff. What if I could get her to admit it? Admissions are good. Recorded admissions are better, but be careful how you get them. Illegal recordings can't be used in court, and they can get you in trouble. We talk for another 20 minutes. Mason gives me the names of a good divorce lawyer and a private investigator who specializes in financial crimes. He also gives me some advice that I probably should follow, but probably won't. "Don't get emotional," he says. "Don't do anything that makes you look like the bad guy. And whatever you do, don't underestimate them. If they're willing to forge documents and frame you for violence, they're capable of a lot worse." After we hang up, I sit in the dark living room and think about Mason's advice. Don't get emotional. Don't look like the bad guy. Don't underestimate them. All good advice. All completely contrary to what I'm planning to do. Because sometimes, when someone declares war on you, the only rational response is to declare war right back. And sometimes, being the good guy just gets you screwed. Dana comes out of her office around 11, kisses me goodnight like a loving wife, and goes upstairs to bed. I wait until I hear her breathing even out. Then I sneak into her office and photograph every document I can find. Bank statements, business contracts, email printouts, and buried in the bottom drawer of her filing cabinet, a folder labeled PD. Patrick Divorce. Inside the folder is a detailed plan for my destruction. Financial projections showing how much money she'll have after the Series B funding, legal strategies for the divorce proceedings, character assassination tactics designed to make me look unstable, violent, and unfit for any kind of settlement. And photos. Dozens of them, taken by Janice over the past few months. Me arguing with a customer service representative at the bank, me shouting at a referee during a softball game, me having what looks like a heated argument with Dana in our driveway. Actually a discussion about where to go for dinner, but the photos make it look like domestic violence. Every photo is carefully staged, carefully timed, carefully cropped to make me look like a monster. They've been planning this for months, building a case against me piece by piece, lie by lie. But they made one crucial mistake. They assumed I'd never find out. They assumed I'd go quietly, take whatever they offered, and disappear into the night like a beaten dog. They assumed wrong. I photograph everything in the folder, put it back exactly where I found it, and go upstairs. Dana's sleeping peacefully, probably dreaming about her new life with Eddie and all the money they're going to steal from me. I lie down next to her and stare at the ceiling, my mind racing with possibilities. Plans within plans, traps within traps. Tomorrow I start fighting back, and by the time I'm done, Dana and her co-conspirators are going to wish they'd never heard my name. Thursday morning, Dana leaves for work with the same fake smile and empty kiss she's been giving me for months. The moment her car disappears around the corner, I'm on the phone with James Mitchell, the divorce lawyer Mason recommended. Mitchell's office is in an old brownstone downtown, the kind of place that screams established and expensive. The man himself is in his 60s, gray-haired, sharp-eyed, with the look of someone who's seen every dirty trick in the book and invented a few of his own. Interesting case, he says, after I lay out the whole story and show him the evidence I've gathered. Your wife's certainly been thorough in her planning. Can we stop her? Stop her from divorcing you? No. Stop her from stealing your assets and destroying your reputation? Maybe. It depends on how well we can prove fraud and conspiracy. He explains the legal landscape. The forged signature on the Series B documents is definitely fraud, but proving it will require expensive expert analysis. The stolen $50,000 is theft of marital assets, but since it came from a joint account, she can claim it was for legitimate business purposes. The conspiracy to frame me as violent will be hard to prove unless we can get them to admit it on record. What about the burner phone? I asked. The messages you showed me are helpful, but we need the actual phone to authenticate them, and we need to obtain it legally or it's worthless in court. How much is this going to cost? Mitchell doesn't sugarcoat it. Between legal fees, expert witnesses, and private investigators, I'm looking at $50,000 minimum. Maybe more if it goes to trial. $50,000. The exact amount Dana stole from our joint account. There is another option, Mitchell says. We could try to negotiate a settlement, confront them with the evidence we have, threaten to expose the fraud, and see if they're willing to deal. What kind of deal? 50-50 split of all marital assets, including her business. No alimony either way. Clean break, no fault divorce. It's tempting. Take the money and run. Start over somewhere else. But it means letting them get away with it. It means Dana and Eddie win, and I lose everything except money. I'll think about it, I tell Mitchell, but I've already made up my mind. Some things are more important than money. Like justice. Like revenge. Like making sure that people who destroy lives face consequences for their actions. From Mitchell's office, I drive to Riverside Boxing Gym, where Mason trains fighters and dispenses wisdom to lost souls like me. The gym is in a converted warehouse under the interstate, the kind of place where the air smells like sweat and determination, and the walls echo with the sound of gloves hitting bags. Mason's in the ring with a young heavyweight, teaching him how to throw a proper left hook. The kid's got power but no technique, throwing wild haymakers that wouldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Slow down, Mason tells him. Power without control is just noise. Control without power is just dancing. You need both. Good advice for boxing. Good advice for revenge. After the kid leaves, Mason and I sit in his office, drinking coffee that could strip paint and talking strategy. Saw a lawyer, I tell him. He wants $50,000 to fight this thing properly. Money you don't have because your wife stole it. Exactly. Mason leans back in his chair and studies me. You got that look in your eyes, Patrick. The same look fighters get when they decide they'd rather go down swinging than play it safe. What are you thinking? I'm thinking maybe it's time to stop playing defense. Meaning? Meaning maybe it's time to give them something real to worry about. Mason's quiet for a long moment. You want to be careful, man. These people are already planning to paint you as violent and unstable. You do something stupid, you're just proving their point. Who said anything about stupid? I tell him my plan. It's not violent, not illegal, and not stupid. It's just aggressive. The kind of aggressive that gets people's attention and makes them realize they're not dealing with a pushover anymore. Mason listens without comment, then shakes his head. That's either brilliant or completely insane. Maybe both. Definitely both. But it might work. You sure you want to do this? I'm sure. That evening, I put the plan into motion. Dana comes home late again, claiming she was in client meetings. She's showered and changed clothes, just like yesterday. The smell of Eddie's cologne has been replaced by her usual perfume, but I can still detect traces of guilt in her expression. How was your day? She asks, settling onto the couch next to me. Interesting, I say. I had lunch with Tom Bradley. Tom Bradley is Dana's business partner and the co-founder of Blackstone Marketing. He's also a straight arrow type who wouldn't approve of Dana's extracurricular activities if he knew about them. Dana tenses slightly. Oh, what did you talk about? Business stuff mostly. The Series B funding round. He mentioned some paperwork that needs my signature. Right. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. He seemed surprised that documents had already been filed with my signature on them. Said he didn't remember me signing anything recently. Dana's face goes pale, but she recovers quickly. There must be some confusion. I'll check with our lawyers tomorrow. Good idea. Tom also mentioned that the funding is contingent on all shareholders being in agreement. Said if there's any dispute or fraud, the whole deal could fall apart. Why would there be fraud? I don't know. But Tom seemed concerned about something. He asked me to review all the documents personally before the deal closes. Dana excuses herself to make a phone call. I can hear her in the kitchen, talking in urgent whispers. Probably calling Eddie, maybe Janice, telling them that I'm getting suspicious, that they need to move faster. Perfect. The next morning, Friday, I follow Dana to work. Not closely. I'm not trying to catch her doing anything. I'm trying to be seen following her. I park across the street from her office building and sit there for an hour, making sure her coworkers see me. Making sure word gets back to her that her husband is acting strange, paranoid, possibly unstable. Then I drive to Eddie's office building and repeat the performance. I sit in the lobby for 20 minutes, pretending to wait for someone, making sure the security cameras get a good look at me. When Eddie comes down for lunch, I make eye contact, nod politely, and leave. I'm not threatening anyone. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm just being visible, being noticed, being the kind of guy who might be keeping tabs on his wife and her lover, the kind of guy who might know more than he's letting on. That afternoon, my phone rings. It's Dana, and she sounds rattled. Patrick, where are you? At work. Why? Someone said they saw you downtown this morning, near my office. I had a meeting with a client in that area. Is that a problem? No, it's just... Never mind. I'll see you at home. She hangs up, and I smile. Phase 1 of the plan is working. They're getting nervous, making mistakes, wondering how much I know and what I'm planning to do about it. That evening, Dana suggests we go out for dinner. Just the two of us, she says. We haven't done that in a while. She's right, we haven't, because she's been too busy having dinner with Eddie. We go to Romano's, an Italian place we used to frequent when we were happy, or when I thought we were happy. The food is good, the wine is better, and Dana is trying so hard to act normal that she's practically vibrating with nervous energy. Is everything okay? She asks over dessert. You seem different lately. Different how? I don't know. Distant, like you're thinking about something else. I've been thinking about us, I say, which is true. About our future. What about our future? I've been wondering if we're as happy as we could be, if we're being honest with each other. Dana nearly chokes on her tiramisu. Of course we're being honest. Why would you say that? No reason, just a feeling. What kind of feeling? I lean across the table and take her hand. Her wedding ring feels cold against my fingers. Dana, if there was something you wanted to tell me, something important, you know you could trust me, right? For a moment, just a moment, I think she might confess. I can see the guilt in her eyes, the weight of all her lies pressing down on her. But then the moment passes, and she's back to being the woman I married, the woman I thought I married. Of course, she says. We tell each other everything. Everything? Everything. Another lie. But this one might be the last lie she ever tells me. Because tomorrow is Saturday. Tomorrow we have dinner with her mother at the country club. And tomorrow the real game begins. I pay the check, drive us home, and make love to my wife for what I know will be the last time. She responds with an enthusiasm that might be guilt, might be genuine affection, or might just be her way of keeping me off balance. Afterward, as she sleeps beside me, I stare at the ceiling and go over the plan one more time. Every detail, every contingency, every possible way it could go wrong. By Sunday night, Dana's world will be in ruins, her reputation will be destroyed, her business will be in jeopardy, and her relationship with Eddie will be exposed for what it really is, a sordid affair built on lies and theft. And I'll be the one holding all the cards. Mason was right about one thing. Power without control is just noise, but control without power is just dancing. Tomorrow, I stop dancing. Saturday evening at the Riverside Country Club is like stepping into a museum exhibit called How Rich People Pretend to Have Class. The dining room is all crystal chandeliers and mahogany paneling, filled with people who measure their worth in stock portfolios and social connections. Margaret Blackwood holds court at her usual table by the window, wearing a navy dress that probably costs more than most people's monthly rent. She's 72 years old, perfectly coiffed, and has the kind of smile that could freeze hell over. "Patrick," she says as Dana and I approach the table, "how nice to see you." The pause before nice is Margaret's signature move, just long enough to let you know that seeing you is actually the opposite of nice, but not long enough to be considered outright rude. "Mrs. Blackwood," I reply, kissing her cheek. "You look lovely as always." She tolerates the kiss the way most people tolerate root canal surgery. We sit down, order drinks, and settle into the familiar rhythm of dinner with Margaret. She talks about her charity work, her bridge club, her opinions on everything from politics to the weather. Dana nods and smiles and plays the role of the dutiful daughter. I sit quietly and wait for my moment. It comes during the main course when Margaret starts talking about Dana's business success. "I'm so proud of Dana's company," she says, cutting her salmon with surgical precision. "All those years of hard work finally paying off. The Series B funding will make her one of the most successful women in the city." It's exciting, I agree, though I have to admit, I'm a little confused about some of the paperwork. Dana's fork stops halfway to her mouth. Confused about what? Well, Tom Bradley mentioned that my signature was required for the funding to go through, but I don't remember signing anything lately. Margaret looks puzzled. "Your signature? Why would your signature be required?" "Because Patrick owns 15% of the company," Dana says quickly, "from when we use joint assets for startup capital." 15%? Margaret's eyebrows rise. That seems like quite a lot for someone who doesn't actually work for the company. There it is, the opening I've been waiting for. "Actually," I say, "that raises an interesting question. If I own 15%, shouldn't I have been consulted about major business decisions, like hiring new consultants?" "What consultants?" Margaret asks. Dana shoots me a warning look, but I'm past caring about warnings. "Eddie Martinelli," I say. "Martinelli Consulting. Dana's been working very closely with him on the funding round." "I don't believe I know Mr. Martinelli," Margaret says. "Is he local?" "Very local," I reply. "In fact, he and Dana have been meeting regularly, sometimes quite late in the evening." The temperature at our table drops about 20 degrees. Dana's face has gone pale, and her mother is looking between us with the sharp intelligence that made her a successful businesswoman before she became a professional socialite. "Patrick," Dana says carefully, "perhaps we should discuss business matters at home." "Why? We're all family here." I turn to Margaret. "Mrs. Blackwood, did you know that Dana has been taking photographs of me, or rather, having photographs taken?" "Photographs?" Margaret looks genuinely confused now. "Candid shots. Me arguing with people, looking angry, that sort of thing. Her friend Janice has quite the collection." Dana's hand is gripping her wine glass so tightly I'm surprised it doesn't shatter. "Patrick, I think you've had too much to drink." "Actually, I've barely touched my wine. Unlike you, I prefer to keep a clear head when I'm conducting business." I lean back in my chair and smile. "Speaking of business, Mrs. Blackwood, did you know that your daughter has a second phone?" The question hangs in the air like a live grenade. Margaret's eyes narrow, and Dana looks like she's about to be sick. "A second phone?" Margaret asks. "A burner phone. You know, the kind people use when they don't want their regular contacts to know what they're up to. Very interesting text messages on that phone. Very intimate." Dana stands up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "Excuse me, I need to use the restroom." She walks away on unsteady legs, leaving me alone with her mother. Margaret watches her daughter leave, then turns those sharp eyes on me. "What exactly are you implying, Patrick?" "I'm not implying anything, Mrs. Blackwood. I'm stating facts. Your daughter is having an affair with Eddie Martinelli. She's stolen $50,000 from our joint account to fund their relationship. She's forged my signature on business documents. and she's been documenting fake evidence to make me look violent and unstable for divorce proceedings. Margaret's face goes through several expressions: shock, anger, disappointment, and finally cold calculation. Do you have proof of these allegations? I pull out my phone and show her some of the screenshots from Dana's burner phone. Her face hardens as she reads. How long has this been going on? She asks. Months, maybe longer. Margaret is quiet for a long moment, staring out the window at the golf course. When she speaks again, her voice is ice cold. That foolish girl. Does she have any idea what this could do to our family's reputation? Not how could she hurt you or I'm sorry this happened. Just concern about the family reputation. But I'll take it. She's planning to divorce me and take everything. I continue. The business, the house, our savings. She thinks the prenup protects her? The prenup was designed to protect family assets, Margaret says, not to enable theft and adultery. Dana returns from the restroom, her face freshly powdered, but her eyes red-rimmed. She sits down carefully, like someone walking on thin ice. Feeling better? I ask. Much, thank you. Margaret clears her throat. Dana, Patrick has been telling me about your business consultant, Mr. Martinelli. Dana glances between us, trying to gauge how much damage has been done. What about him? I'd like to meet him, Margaret says. Perhaps you could invite him to dinner next weekend. I don't think that's necessary. I insist. If he's going to be handling such important business for our family, I should get to know him. The word family hits Dana like a physical blow. She knows her mother well enough to recognize the threat implicit in that statement. Of course, Dana says weakly. I'll ask him. We finish dinner in near silence. Margaret makes polite conversation about inconsequential things while Dana pushes food around on her plate, and I savor my victory. It's a small victory, but it's the first real blow I've landed in this war. As we're leaving the restaurant, Margaret pulls me aside. Patrick, I want you to know that I don't approve of what Dana has done. The Blackwood family has a reputation to maintain. I understand. I also want you to know that I'll be speaking with my attorney on Monday morning. The prenup has a morality clause that Dana seems to have forgotten about. A morality clause. I'd forgotten about that part of the prenup. It voids the agreement in cases of adultery or criminal behavior. Thank you, Mrs. Blackwood. Don't thank me yet. This is going to get very ugly before it's over. Are you prepared for that? I've been preparing for weeks. She nods approvingly. Good. Dana always was too clever for her own good. It's time someone reminded her that actions have consequences. The drive home is silent, except for the radio playing soft jazz. Dana stares out the passenger window while I navigate the suburban streets. I can practically hear the gears turning in her head, trying to figure out how to salvage the situation. When we get home, she finally speaks. How long have you known? About the affair, about the money, about the forged documents. Which part would you like to discuss first? She sits down heavily on the couch, looking older than her 37 years. How long have you known about Eddie? I saw you coming out of the Grandview Hotel 2 weeks ago, with him and Janice taking pictures. Dana closes her eyes. Patrick, I can explain. Can you? Can you explain why you stole $50,000 from our joint account? Can you explain why you forged my signature on legal documents? Can you explain why you've been building a case to make me look violent and unstable? It's not what you think. Then what is it? She's quiet for a long moment, and I can see her weighing her options. Tell the truth and face the consequences, or double down on the lies and hope for the best. She chooses lies. Eddie is helping me with the business. Yes, we've gotten close, but it's not what it looks like. The money was for legitimate consulting fees. And I never forged your signature. There must be some mistake with the paperwork. Dana, I've seen the text messages. I've seen the hotel receipts. I've seen the photographs Janice has been taking. I know about your divorce file with the character assassination plan. I know everything. Her face crumbles, and for a moment she looks like the woman I married 12 years ago. Young, vulnerable, human. Patrick, please, we can work this out. We can go to counseling, start over. Start over? You want to start over after you've spent months planning to destroy me? I never wanted to destroy you. I fell in love with someone else. These things happen. These things happen? Dana, you didn't just fall in love with someone else. You conspired to defraud me, steal from me, and frame me as a violent man. That's not love. That's war. She starts crying then, real tears that might even be genuine. What do you want from me? I want you to tell me the truth, all of it. How long has the affair been going on? How much money have you stolen? What exactly were you planning to do to me in the divorce? she tells me. Through tears and sobs, she tells me everything. The affair started 8 months ago when Eddie approached her at a business conference. He seduced her, convinced her that she deserved better than a mediocre husband like me. He helped her plan the Series B funding, showed her how to forge my signature, taught her how to hide money in offshore accounts. The $50,000 was just the beginning. Once the Series B funding went through, they were planning to steal millions more. The divorce was supposed to happen after the money was safely hidden, leaving me with nothing but legal bills and a destroyed reputation. Janice was in on it from the beginning, providing surveillance and documentation to support their version of events. The photos, the character assassination file, the whole elaborate plan to paint me as an unstable, violent husband who deserved nothing. Eddie said it would be easy, Dana sobs. He said men like you never fight back, never see it coming until it's too late. Men like me? Passive, weak, the kind of man who signs whatever his wife puts in front of him without reading it. There it is. The truth at last. In Dana's eyes, and in Eddie's eyes, I'm nothing more than a mark. A victim. A weak man who deserves whatever happens to him. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Dana, I say quietly, I want you to call Eddie. Tell him to come over here. Now. Why? Because it's time for all of us to have a conversation about the future. She hesitates, then picks up her phone. The call is brief, whispered, urgent. When she hangs up, she looks defeated. He'll be here in 20 minutes. Good. That gives us time to call Janice too. I think she should be part of this conversation. Patrick, what are you planning? I smile, and it's not a nice smile. I'm planning to give Eddie exactly what he's been asking for. A fight. But not the kind of fight he's expecting. Eddie Martinelli arrives at our house like a man walking into his own coronation. Expensive car, expensive suit, expensive cologne that probably costs more per ounce than gold. He strides through our front door with the confidence of someone who's never faced real consequences for his actions. Janice follows 10 minutes later, nervous and twitchy like a cat that's heard something moving in the walls. She keeps glancing between Dana and me, trying to read the situation. We're all sitting in our living room now, the four principal players in this sordid drama. Dana on the couch, crying softly into a tissue. Janice in the armchair, perched on the edge like she's ready to bolt. Eddie standing by the fireplace, trying to project dominance and control, and me sitting calmly in my favorite chair, holding all the cards. So, Eddie says, his voice smooth as silk, Dana tells me you figured out our little arrangement. Your little arrangement? I repeat. Is that what we're calling adultery, theft, and fraud these days? Eddie laughs, actually laughs. Come on, Patrick, let's be adults about this. These things happen. Marriages end, people move on. No need to make it ugly. I think it's already pretty ugly. The question is how much uglier it's going to get. That depends on you, Eddie says. You can make this easy or you can make it hard. But either way, it's going to end the same. Dana and I are together now. You're out of the picture. The only question is whether you walk away with something or whether you walk away with nothing. Janice speaks up for the first time. Patrick, we know this is difficult, but Eddie's right. Fighting this will only hurt everyone involved. Everyone? Or just you three? All of us, Dana says through her tears. Patrick, please. Let's just end this quietly. I'll make sure you get a fair settlement. Fair? I stand up and walk to the window, looking out at our neighborhood. Normal houses, normal people, normal lives. You steal $50,000 from our joint account, forge my signature on documents worth millions, plan to frame me as a violent man, and you want to talk about fair? The money was for business expenses, Eddie says. Legitimate consulting fees. Consulting fees? Is that what you call private work now? Eddie's face hardens. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll add assault to your list of crimes? There are no crimes here, Janice interjects. Just a marriage that didn't work out and some unfortunate misunderstandings about business arrangements. I turn back to face them, and I'm smiling. Not a nice smile. The kind of smile a shark makes right before it bites. You're right, Janice. Let's talk about business arrangements. Eddie, did you know that I own 15% of Dana's company? So what? 15% of nothing is still nothing. Nothing? The Series B funding round is worth $50 million. 15% of that is $7.5 million. Eddie shrugs. Money you'll never see. The prenup protects Dana's business assets. Actually, it doesn't. Not anymore. I pull out my phone and show them a photo of a document. Margaret Blackwood's attorney works fast when properly motivated. Morality clause, I explain. Adultery voids the prenup. which means we're back to standard community property laws. 50-50 split of all marital assets, including the business. Dana's face goes white. You can't do that. The business is mine. The business was built with marital assets, my assets, which makes it our business. And since you forged my signature on the Series B documents, the entire funding round is fraudulent. You can't prove I forged anything, Dana says, but her voice lacks conviction. Actually, I can. Handwriting analysis, document examination, expert testimony. It's all very scientific these days. But more importantly, I don't need to prove it in criminal court. I just need to prove it in divorce court, where the standard of evidence is much lower. Eddie steps forward, and there's something dangerous in his eyes. You're bluffing. Am I? Would you like to see the divorce papers I filed yesterday? Or the fraud complaint I submitted to the SEC this morning? Or maybe the information I sent to the local business journal about your previous marriages and divorce settlements? That last one hits home. Eddie's face goes pale, and Janice actually gasps. You wouldn't, Eddie says. I already did. Amazing how much information becomes public record when you know where to look. 3 previous marriages, Eddie. 3 wealthy women who fell for your charm and ended up financially ruined. There's a pattern there that makes for very interesting reading. You son of a bitch. Careful, Eddie. We wouldn't want to add threatening behavior to your resume. He takes another step toward me, hands clenched into fists. This is the moment I've been waiting for, the moment when Eddie's true nature comes out, when the mask slips and everyone sees what he really is. Eddie, don't, Dana says, but it's too late. He swings at me, a wild haymaker that would have knocked me out if it had connected. But Mason's been training me for months, and I see it coming from a mile away. I duck under the punch, step to the side, and watch Eddie stumble past me into the coffee table. Assault, I say calmly, pulling out my phone to record. In front of witnesses. That's going to look great in court. Eddie scrambles to his feet, his expensive suit wrinkled and his face red with rage. This isn't over. You're right. It's not over. It's just getting started. I walk to our front door and open it. I think you should leave now. Both of you. I'm not going anywhere, Eddie snarls. This is between me and you. No, Eddie. This is between you and the legal system, and the press, and your next potential victims who are going to know exactly what kind of man you are. Janice stands up shakily. Patrick, please. Can't we work something out? We already worked something out, Janice. You helped plan my destruction, and now you get to face the consequences. She looks at Dana, then at Eddie, then back at me. What consequences? Well, let's see. Conspiracy to commit fraud, accessory to theft, defamation of character, and that's just the legal stuff. Then there's the social consequences. Amazing how quickly people turn on you when they find out you've been helping someone destroy their marriage. You can't prove any of that. I can prove all of it. Photos, text messages, documents, recordings. I've been very thorough, Janice. Almost as thorough as you were when you were documenting my supposed violent behavior. Eddie grabs Dana's arm. Come on, we're leaving. Dana's not going anywhere, I say. This is still her house, too, at least until the divorce is finalized. Dana, come on, Eddie insists, pulling harder. But Dana shakes her head. No, Eddie, I need to stay here. I need to think. Think about what? We had a plan. The plan's over, Dana says quietly. It's all over. Eddie stares at her for a long moment, then at me. I can see the wheels turning in his head, calculating odds, looking for angles, searching for a way to salvage the situation. There isn't one. This isn't over, he says again, but the fight has gone out of his voice. Yes, it is, I reply. It's been over since the moment you decided to mess with my life. You just didn't know it yet. Eddie and Janice leave together, whispering urgently as they walk to their cars. I watch from the window as they drive away, probably planning damage control, probably trying to figure out how to minimize their losses. Too late for that. Dana and I are alone now, sitting in the wreckage of our marriage. She stopped crying, but she looks hollow, defeated, like someone who's just realized that actions have consequences. What happens now? She asks. Now you decide how you want to handle this, the easy way or the hard way. What's the easy way? You cooperate with the divorce proceedings. You admit to the fraud and help me recover the stolen money. You testify against Eddie if necessary. In return, I don't press criminal charges, and I don't destroy you in the press. And the hard way? I take everything. The house, the business, our savings, your reputation, your future. I make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of person you are and what you did to me. Dana is quiet for a long time, staring at her hands. When she finally speaks, her voice is barely a whisper. I never meant for it to go this far. But it did go this far, and now we have to deal with the consequences. I loved you, Patrick. I really did. Maybe you did. But love isn't enough when it's mixed with betrayal, theft, and lies. She nods, accepting the truth of it. What do you want me to do? I want you to sign a confession, admit to the affair, the theft, the forged documents. I want you to help me recover every penny you stole, and I want you to stay away from Eddie Martinelli for the rest of your life. And if I do all that, then we end this marriage quietly. You keep your freedom, your reputation, and enough money to start over somewhere else. How much money? Whatever's left after you pay back what you stole and cover the legal fees. It's not a generous offer, but it's more than she deserves. More than she would have given me if our positions were reversed. Dana thinks it over for several minutes, weighing her options. Finally, she nods. Okay, I'll sign your confession. Good. My lawyer will have the papers ready tomorrow. She stands up, smoothing down her dress. I'll be staying at my mother's for a while. Probably a good idea. She walks toward the door, then stops and turns back to me. Patrick? Yeah? I'm sorry, for all of it. I know that doesn't change anything, but I wanted you to know. I know. She leaves, and I'm alone in our house for the first time in 12 years. It should feel lonely, but it doesn't. It feels like freedom. I pour myself a glass of whiskey and sit in my chair, thinking about the future. The divorce will be finalized in a few months. I'll sell the house, take my share of the business, and start over somewhere new. Maybe I'll move closer to Kate, help her with the auto shop. Maybe I'll travel, see the world, do all the things Dana never wanted to do. The possibilities are endless. My phone rings. It's Mason. How'd it go? He asks. Better than expected. They folded like a house of cards in a hurricane. Good. You did the right thing, Patrick. Took balls, but you did the right thing. Thanks. For everything. Don't thank me yet. This thing's not over until the paperwork's signed and the money's back in your account. He's right, of course. But I'm not worried. Dana will sign the confession, Eddie will disappear to find his next victim, and Janice will spend the next few years rebuilding her reputation. And I'll be free. 3 months later, I'm sitting in Judge Harrison's courtroom, listening to him finalize our divorce decree. Dana sits at the defendant's table with her lawyer, looking smaller than I remember. She's kept her word, signed the confession, helped recover most of the stolen money. Eddie Martinelli has left town, his reputation in ruins, his consulting business destroyed by the negative publicity. Janice lost most of her friends and her position on several charity boards when word got out about her role in the conspiracy. She's moved to another state, trying to start over. Mr. Morrison, Judge Harrison says, the court finds that the prenuptial agreement is void due to the adultery clause. All marital assets will be divided equally between the parties. The defendant will pay restitution for the funds illegally transferred, plus interest and legal fees. It's over. 12 years of marriage, ended with a gavel and some paperwork. Outside the courthouse, Dana approaches me one last time. Patrick, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but I hope you find happiness. Real happiness. I already have, I tell her. It started the day I decided to fight back. She nods, understanding. Goodbye, Patrick. Goodbye, Dana. I watch her walk away, then I get in my car and drive to Mason's gym. He's training a new fighter, a young woman with fire in her eyes and determination in every movement. How'd it go? He asks during a break. It's finished, all of it. Good. What's next? I'm thinking about opening a software consulting business. Help small companies with their tech needs. Honest work for honest money. Mason grins. Sounds perfect. Just remember what I taught you. Power without control is just noise. And? Control without power is just dancing. That's right. But when you have both, he doesn't finish the sentence, but he doesn't need to. When you have both, you win. I leave the gym and drive to my new apartment across town. It's smaller than the house Dana and I shared, but it's mine. No lies, no secrets, no hidden agendas. Just a place where a man can live honestly and sleep peacefully. That night, I sit on my balcony with a glass of wine, looking out at the city lights. My phone buzzes with a text from Kate. Proud of you, little brother. Dinner this weekend? I text back, absolutely, my treat. Life is good. Not perfect, but good. And for the first time in years, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Dana thought she could destroy me, steal my money, and ruin my reputation. Eddie thought I was just another weak mark, easy to manipulate and discard. Janice thought she could help them do it without facing any consequences. They all underestimated me. They saw what they wanted to see. a passive, weak man who would take whatever they dished out. They were wrong. I finish my wine and go inside. Tomorrow is a new day, full of possibilities and opportunities. I'm 40 years old, financially secure, and completely free to make my own choices. Dana and Eddie and Janice are all dealing with the consequences of their actions. Their reputations are ruined, their plans are destroyed, and their futures are uncertain. Mine is just beginning. I turn off the lights and go to bed smiling. Sometimes the good guys really do win. Sometimes justice really is served. And sometimes the people who try to destroy you end up destroying themselves instead. It just takes patience, planning, and the willingness to fight back when fighting back is the only option left. Sweet dreams, Dana. Sweet dreams, Eddie. Sweet dreams, Janice. You earned them.